So this one has a little bit of a story, a little bit of context to it. There was a visual artist called Felix Gonzalez Torres, and in 1991 he curated a piece of visual artwork for the Chicago Institute of Art. And what this artwork is it is a large, towering pile of candy, wrapped candies that you can take, interact with, and eat. And basically, the candy had to be 175 pounds every single time. And the reason for this is it's called Untitled, parentheses, A Portrait of Ross in LA. And Felix's partner was called Ross, and both of them were affected by the AIDS epidemic in the 80s and 90s. And when Ross was diagnosed with HIV, he was 175 pounds, and the treatment slowly made that decrease. And basically, that piece of art, even after Felix's death and Ross's death and their friend's death, it was still immortalized in different galleries around the United States. Now, it is currently in the Smithsonian National Art Gallery in Washington, D.C. However, it's not a pile of candy, it is just laid out on the floor. And the original artworks were made of rainbow-colored candy. They're all the same color, laid out on the ground. And the sign does not read anything about the subtext or the context of the piece. It just has the name and an allergy warning. So the main thing that I kind of took from this is, with everything that's going on in America right now and talking about queer erasure, the first thing that happens during tyranny is they erase the history of a marginalized group. And that is seen to be what is happening here. It is so much easier to erase a community if you erase their history first. And there has been so much outcry about this kind of erasure of this backstory, and it seems like such a small thing, but that is a relationship and a monument to their love completely rendered nameless and storyless. So I have written a poem, and it is called Untitled, parentheses, a poem for Ross and Felix. Ross sits in the corner of an empty gallery. He is messy, chaotic. A simple breeze could break his form, but my God, is he beautiful in a way that no one else is. Because he is no one else. He's Ross. Ross is 175 pounds, an ideal weight, a perfect weight. Because Ross never thought to see imperfection in such a superficial thing. Ross never took note of his weight until he felt life's grip wrap around it and rip it from him. Each part of Ross is meticulously wrapped, covered and protected by the one person that truly knew what it is to understand Ross, to love Ross, to be Ross. That same person has given you permission to unwrap those parts and truly know Ross, to know what it is to love someone, to savor them, to taste them, and how beautifully tragic it is when they wither away with each touch. Ross withered every day by the hands and tongues of the people that didn't understand, in the hopes that one day they would. And so many did. Ross spilling out in colourful wrappers from the crevices of the wall into the arena of the galleries. As if walls could not contain Ross, as if Ross's life was not something to be gawked at, a piece of history immortalized on a dull wall, but something to be experienced, something to be tasted, something to remember, to cherish, to thank. Ross lived in so many galleries. A triumphant, unapologetic burst of colour into every single one. Ross shone because the love he was given shone, because the love that he gave shone, and his love was tasted and savoured and refilled, and tasted and savoured and refilled. And isn't that all we want at the end of the day? For our love to last longer than us. For our love to be used and used and used and refilled by the only people that could understand our love. Isn't it something to love something? Isn't it something to be something? A pile of candy sits on the floor of the Smithsonian National Gallery. This candy does not look like Ross. It looks like candy. The sign reads, "This candy is packed in factories that handle nuts and dairy. Eating candy may present a choking hazard." Felix Gonzalez Torres' name and the name of the artwork takes up the other quarter of the sign. The name of the artwork is Untitled, parentheses, Portrait of Ross in LA. And it makes me wonder why they even kept the parentheses at all, because Ross is not here. Ross is back in LA, a pile of nameless suites in Washington, D.C. This is not a portrait of Ross, because a portrait should tell you something about someone. A portrait should capture a life. A portrait does not belong on the floor without a story. Felix and Ross and most of their friends died within a decade of each other, but their love remained in a monument to it. And now it's strewn across a floor, lining the walls that it used to spill into. I can't help but think of a child unsure of the things that they're feeling, unsure of the person that they're becoming, unsure of the love that they deserve. I picture them wandering the halls of the Smithsonian, bored by portraits and stories of people unlike them. I picture them eating a piece of candy, and I think how wonderful it could have been for them to have met Ross. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please help us share it with more people by clicking the like button down below. If you want to see more videos like it, well, there should be one on your screen right now. Click that and you can head right there. Or you can subscribe to the channel. Make sure to ring the bell icon for notifications and you will never miss another video we put out. If that's not enough for you, well, good news. We have over 50 full-length Loud Poet shows that you can get access to, either by joining us over on the Patreon page or by becoming a member right here on YouTube. All you need to do is click the join button down below. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next time.